We want to thank you for joining us today. I'm joined with my good friend Dave. Dave, can you introduce yourself? What agency you work for and everything?
Sure thing. David Chamra, Realtor Associate with Century 21 Action Plus Realty in Monmouth County, New Jersey, specializing in Monmouth Ocean and Southern New Jersey.
Awesome. Very cool. And of course, I'm Sean McKillop. I'm Coldwell Banker Team Real Estate in Windham, Maine. And I primarily serve Cumberland County, but also York County and the surrounding areas as well. So, uh, Dave, I want to talk to you today because a lot of my first-time buyers have questions as far as inventory, not just my first-time buyers, but also million plus range everywhere. So I want to talk to you today about the inventory and also the effects it's having on our market. So I want to read you this article. This is from Bloomberg.com. This came out April 9th, 2020. So, almost a year ago, but almost at the height of the fear of the pandemic. And it reads, New Jersey home prices head for 12% drop on bottom feeder feast. The housing market in New Jersey is about to get crushed. Home sales in the state may fall as much as 45% this year from 2019, while prices will drop as much as 12%. Getting a sale will require a deep discount, maybe 20% below what the seller was planning to list for. Did that happen in New Jersey?
Well, being a realtor, that article would have terrified me a little bit, on all aspects of things, but I could confidently say that the total opposite of that article happened in the state of New Jersey. Prices skyrocketed. I actually pulled average sale prices and I took samples from 2018, 19, and 2020 to compare. Average sale price in 2018 statewide for a single family home was about $392,000. When in comparison to 2020 single family home, we're looking at $474,000. So that is a significant increase. And to give you an example, back in 2018, homes were selling for just under 97% of their listed price, and now they're over 99%. So it's the homes that are on the market have actually become very competitive and values have gone up.
Yep, the same thing I'm seeing here in Maine. Statewide, we have a increase of 31% for the number of units sold between 2019 and 2020. And the median sales price, median for the state is 234,000 in 2019, and in 2020 was 270,000, which is a 15%. And in my county alone, in 2019, the number of units sold in 2019 was 4,086, and in 2020, 4,130, which was not a huge jump. That was just a 1%. But other counties experienced as much as 34%, 24, 25, almost 40% in Washington and York County. A little bit smaller again because we're dealing with the bigger numbers, but 3%. So, yeah, that tells me that this article that came out was, hindsight is 2020. But
Yeah.
I understand where this kind of fear came from, because when I was working with a lender, we were doing a house on Long Beach Island, $1 million house, and I had wanted to get his thoughts on this. And it was about the same time this article was written, and he was sure we were heading for a recession, but actually, the mortgage rates dropped and still have dropped. So, it's hindsight's 2020, but this article proved to be wrong. And then I read another article by them a couple months later where they said New Jersey's doing very well. So can you tell me a little bit why your thoughts about why inventory is so low? Do you have any idea of where, kind of why that's happening?
Well, one of the things I looked at average days on market, and from 2019 to 2020, we saw about a 17% drop in time on market that a listing is available. So houses are selling a little bit quicker. And personally, what I've experienced with dealing with counties like Middlesex and Monmouth we're starting to get an influx of people that live in larger market areas like New York City and Staten Island and Brooklyn and the Bronx, and they are actually coming into New Jersey. buying up a lot of the properties there. So it's effectively made the properties available for sale decrease because of, recent purchases. And it's also been driving the values up a little bit because, I mean, with the constraint on supply, it directly affects demand and everything. So things are just, it seems like, whereas a lot of clientele was New Jersey to New Jersey moves, we're getting a lot of out of state into New Jersey moves to try to, own larger property, maybe a little bit more land, and just expand upon what the actual footprint is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Same thing here in Maine. Maine is obviously a lot more rural than New Jersey is, but we are seeing higher demand. But also, I had this letter. Actually, it was funny. I was just going through all my notes, and I had this letter. This is from 2017. This is a letter I had sent to a homeowner, and basically what I was saying is 2016 compared to 2017, the inventory was lower, and which was driving the prices up in 2017. And then you look at 2018, 2019, 2020, the inventory just gotten lower and lower. So even though we're looking at this as a pandemic thing, this was going on, since 2016.
Sure.
And I'm not really too sure, like, as far as 2020 where that goes. So at this Bloomberg report, it was basically saying take your house off the market now because it's going to be bottom feeders. You're going to have to sell for a deep discount. And I know if I had advised one of my sellers at the time to do that, if they were going to get a deep discount, and the opposite happened, that would have not been good. So, do you have any tips right now for any new buyers? Because we're working with a lot of new buyers as well, and you try to guide them a little bit and help them out, especially in this situation because we just put my parents' house on the market, and same situation, New Jersey, down there in Ocean County, New Jersey, is multiple offers, very very quick turnaround to sell this house. If you're a new buyer, you might get kind of disappointed, or you might get bummed out a little bit. But every house that you're looking at is if you're trying to put an offer in and you can't get in. Do you have any tips for any first time buyers that you can think of?
I mean, you've already touched upon, like, I think the biggest tip is try your best to not get discouraged. Because it is kind of a twofold thing. We as realtors want to stay positive and make sure everything is a positive experience. And, we try our hardest to not get discouraged, but it's one of those things where, especially with the first time buyers that are maybe looking for a home that isn't necessarily going to be the forever home, but maybe something that is a stepping stone, a intro to home ownership, and a platform for what's going to happen in the future. I think whereas even when I was looking for a home, the mindset was let's check off, say, 99% of the boxes in the wants and needs list. Maybe really talking about what is the priority, what they need out of a home, because if you could centralize in on picking a couple listings and try to actively approach them, it's different than having your heart set on one listing and approach it. And if you get outbid and you don't win the property, then that could lead to more discouragement. Where if you could kind of broaden your list out a little bit and kind of have options for yourself, then it will make the process a little bit easier.
Yeah, same thing with me. Again, I work with a lot of first time buyers, and my thing to them is first thing is get pre-approved now. Whatever house that you want to see, by the time you get pre-approved, it's not going to be on the market anymore. Number two is obviously work with a real estate agent. Us as realtors, we're looking at the MLS every day. So, this new buyer may see a house on Zillow, and by the time they call the listing agent on it, may already be taken off the market because of multiple offers. You want to stick with one agent. You want to continue to work with that person because that person is going to be watching the market for you. And that person will also tell you about the market, because your market might be a little bit different than ours is, because you have a lot of people coming from out of state, which is making inventory less and less. Same thing with Maine. A lot of people are they want to get away from everything, so they are moving to Maine. But I would also say that for my first time buyers, I try to let them know you're not going to get a steal. You might not even get a deal right now. One house that I'm listing agent on, first day in the market, received an offer, and it was, it was below asking price. And, I advised my sellers, I said to them, let's not respond to this one, we'll tell them we'll table it. But of course, more offers trickled in. And when I went back to let everybody know about the final and best offer, these first time buyers had came back, of course, with a much higher offer. And even though it was much more competitive at that time, my sellers were like, they already kind of rubbed in the wrong way, in a sense, where they didn't consider the offer, especially when it was stacked up against a couple of different, very, very, very competitive offers. So my solution to that is not to think that you're going to just be able to get in there and get a deep discount, like this article was saying, on a house. It's just not the time for that. So
I think another point too is, and to piggyback on that, would be to us as realtors giving some insight to first-time buyers and whatnot, and really kind of having the buyers understand that when we give a little bit of insight, it's going to come from the analysis and the experience of actually looking at something. So, because I'll get asked all the time, if a house is priced at, $295, they'll ask me what my opinion is on it, and I'll just kind of walk them through as to why maybe the house was listed at that price. Because it is way different. I mean, I've seen houses that are on the market for what I think is a great number and sell for a lot more. I've also seen things sell kind of at list price, and I think the trusting each party is a huge thing as to why they should work with a realtor, and then work with a reputable mortgage lender as well, because there's going to be some insight as to what they should be looking for in a house, financially too. You don't want to spread yourself too thin and chop off more than you want to afford just because you got outbid once or twice. I think staying within a reasonable realm is very important.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one other tip I can think of is try to save a little bit extra money, because a lot of first-time buyers, they're going to need a concession, which is completely fine, for closing costs. But the less money you need towards a concession makes your offer stronger. So if you were kind of stacked up against two offers, one with a concession, one without, even though they might be identical, the seller may go for the one without the concession, because that concession is now going to have to appraise as well. So, just a couple of tips that might help. I mean, obviously, if you need a concession, you need it, but try to save a little bit of extra money. That way, it's less likely. One interesting thing is even though the inventory is lower, the sales of homes, the number of sales of homes has gone up. So, yes. How is that possible? If there's less inventory, how did more homes sell in 2020 than in 2019? How does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, we saw that here. So like 2019, we had 128,000 new listings. And in 2020, 116,000, right? So it definitely dropped by 10%. But we also saw a nearly 8% increase in homes actually being sold, like closes. And I think what it is homes that maybe used to hang around on the market and hit that dreaded triple digit days on market number. Those homes are being looked at as homes that maybe don't check off all the boxes for people, but there's something that could be worked with or improved upon and whatnot. So inventory that used to kind of be stagnant and left over are now becoming options B and C for buyers and are selling. So it seems that that article would have definitely been in the wrong direction, which is great for sellers, because, maybe somebody who thinks that their house isn't necessarily in the ideal shape for it to sell, it'll add a little bit of confidence because the properties are moving. We're starting to see a lot of people that want to improve upon homes and take something and kind of change the platform a little bit and make it their own. So we're starting to see even more projects kind of, move forward.
Dave, can you give your contact information should someone in the area want to reach out to you?
Sure. You can reach me anyway. My cell phone number is 732-824-4547. And my email address is david@davesellsdreamhomes.com. I am on Instagram under Dave Sells Dream Homes and Facebook under David Chamra. I'm very easily reachable. I like to pride myself upon a very quick response time, and I'm more than happy to either answer a very simple question or, take you upon the real estate journey.
Awesome. And if you are in the Maine area, you can reach me. My phone number is 207-200-7068. Sean D. McKillop @gmail.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us. So, Dave, thank you for your time, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it.